The Dyatlov Pass Incident, the mountain mystery that still haunts the world. Imagine hiking into a remote, snow-covered mountain with 8 of your closest friends, only for every one of you to vanish forever. Weeks later, rescuers find your tent ripped open from the inside, your footprints leading barefoot into the freezing wilderness, and your bodies scattered across the mountain. More than 65 years later, no one can say with absolute certainty what happened. This is the true story of the Dyatlov Pass Incident, one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. It all began on 23rd of January 1959, when 9 experienced hikers, led by 23-year-old engineering student Igor Dyatlov, set out on a skiing expedition across the northern Ural Mountains, in what was then the Soviet Union. Every member of the group was highly skilled, physically fit, and familiar with surviving harsh winter conditions. Their goal was ambitious: to reach Oterton Mountain, a challenging route classified as one of the highest difficulty levels in the country. They expected to return within a few weeks, but they never came back. When the group missed their expected return date, relatives became worried. At first, officials believed the hikers had simply been delayed by bad weather. But as days turned into weeks, a massive search operation involving volunteers, students, soldiers, and rescue teams was launched. On 26 February 1959, searchers made a chilling discovery. The hikers' tent stood abandoned on the snowy slope of a mountain, later named Dyatlov Pass in Igor's honor. What shocked investigators most was that the tent had been cut open from the inside, suggesting the hikers had escaped in extreme haste rather than using the entrance. Outside the tent, investigators found a trail of footprints leading downhill. Some footprints were made by people wearing only socks. Others appeared barefoot. Why would experienced mountaineers leave the safety of their shelter in the middle of a freezing night, where temperatures had fallen below 25 degrees 6? Following the footprints, rescuers found the first 2 bodies beneath a large cedar tree. Both men were barefoot and dressed only in underwear. Nearby lay the remains of a small fire, suggesting they had desperately tried to stay warm. Between the tree and the tent, 3 more bodies, including Igor Dyatlov himself, were discovered. Their positions suggested they had attempted to return to the tent, but collapsed in the snow before reaching it. Months later, after the snow melted, the remaining 4 hikers were found inside a nearby ravine. Their injuries stunned investigators. One victim had a fractured skull. 2 others had massive chest injuries comparable to those seen in high-speed car crashes, but with almost no external wounds. One female hiker, Lyudmila Dubinina, was missing her tongue, while others had missing eyes or soft tissue. Experts later suggested these could have resulted from natural decomposition and scavenging animals after death, but the discoveries fueled decades of speculation. Adding to the mystery, some of the hikers' clothing showed traces of radioactive contamination. The Soviet investigation concluded with a brief and puzzling statement. The group had died because of a compelling natural force. No further explanation was given, and the case was eventually closed. For decades, theories exploded across the world. Some believed the hikers encountered an avalanche. Others suggested secret Soviet military weapons testing. Some blamed escaped prisoners, Yeti-like creatures, or even extraterrestrials. The mystery became one of the Cold War's most famous unsolved cases. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the investigation using modern scientific methods. After studying the terrain, weather records, and rescue evidence, they concluded that a small slab avalanche, combined with darkness, freezing temperatures, and powerful winds, likely forced the hikers to flee their tent. Once outside, they became disoriented, separated, and ultimately died from hypothermia and traumatic injuries. In 2021, researchers published computer modeling showing that a delayed slab avalanche was physically possible on the slope, supporting the official explanation. Yet not everyone is convinced. Critics argue that some details, including the unusual injuries, the radioactive clothing, and unanswered questions about the group's final movements, still leave room for debate. Today, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of history's most haunting mysteries. Whether the hikers were victims of an avalanche, extreme weather, or a combination of tragic circumstances, one fact remains undeniable. 9 experienced adventurers entered the frozen Ural Mountains. Only silence came back. So what do you think happened on that icy mountain in 1959? Was it simply nature at its most unforgiving? Or is there still a missing piece of the puzzle waiting to be discovered?